Thanks, and welcome everybody. My name is Bill Cope. I've been involved in this conference since it began, which is quite a long time ago now. So it's good to see you all here. Just to give you, we've just got a few people at this synchronous session, but to give you a sense of the overall conference, we have 88 people in person in Toronto. We have 51 people online and 105 sessions which are online. So quite a lot of the people who are in Toronto have also uploaded digital media. We usually have a Spanish language group, but this year that's at a separate venue at a separate time. So it's usually a bigger conference than this, but that's the number of people we have at the moment, about 130, 140 people attending. So welcome everybody. As I say, my name is Bill Cope. I've been involved in this conference since it began, which is 20-something years ago now, to be quite frank. The very first time we held it, I work at the University of Illinois, I should say, and Common Ground has a research, an office in the research park at the university. You might be able to tell by my accent, and maybe Tam's as well. We were originally in Australia when this conference began, and the first time it was held, we seem to have continuous controversy and crises around these questions of diversity. And it was a moment in Australia, a particular crisis around these questions. So firstly, a couple of things about what we mean by diversity. We mean a lot of things, and one of the things that we're talking about is gender, ethnicity, sexuality, race, that pile of questions actually, and also their intersection. So that's one thing, which is what kinds of people are we talking about when we're talking about diversity. But the other thing we're talking about at this conference is different kinds of institutional setting. So we say diversity in organizations, communities and nations. So we start with the small unit, which is the organization, which might be a company, it might be a school, it might be a local community organization, it might be, like something that's semi-formal, but these small self-organizing groups of people. We also, excuse me, think about it at a community level, which is thinking about governance at community levels, and also nations, where these issues play out often in ways which are problematic. Nationalism is often anti-diversity implicitly. Not always, sometimes it's not, but often it is. So these are these different, these are the two, if you like, the two kind of dimensions that we've got happening here in the conference. So that's a little bit about the themes, a little bit about the format. Yes, it's what we call a blended conference. Since COVID, with COVID suddenly we had to build an online infrastructure, which we've done. But after COVID, what we're doing is we're going back to in-person, but keeping the online component. So the 50-something people who are attending online, I guess they wouldn't have been able to attend in person, or wouldn't have had that option before. So hopefully we can be more inclusive in that particular way. So but also in order to be inclusive, what we're doing is we've very much encouraged people who are presenting in the in-person conference to also create digital versions of their work. And one thing which I'm going to say several times is go to those sessions, whether you're there in person or online, and never leave a session without leaving a comment. A comment triggers an email, which, even though these are not synchronous discussions, they're asynchronous, it triggers an email to the other person, and we encourage you to, or the other people in the conversation, we encourage you to reply. Okay, so what we're going to do in this session, just to give you a little plan of the session, if you like, is we are going to, I'm going to ask you folks to introduce yourselves and say where you come from. If you're in a noisy Starbucks, or your microphone's not working, or your camera's not working, I understand that completely. So a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and what brings you to the conference. So I'll go around the room to do that. And then after that, Tamsin's going to give folks who are not familiar with the platform already. So this is a platform that we've built ourselves. We're kind of proud of the platform and think it's quite effective. And we keep, because it's our own platform, we keep improving it as well. So any feedback you've got on the platform would be appreciated. So what Tamsin's going to do is an intro to the platform, and then at the next hour, so I know everyone's going to be in different time zones. At the beginning of the next hour, we have a book launch to which everybody is invited. So we hope everybody comes to that. So yes, you've met Tamsin Gilbert already, who's the conference producer. Patricia Alonso is also here, who's our publishing person at Common Ground, who publishes book publishing specifically. And she'll be here for the session on the next hour when we launch a book. So please come to that. Okay, so we're going to go around the room, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention each of the Zoom tiles, and if you could just briefly introduce yourself, and we will, while you're doing that, if you're presenting, we'll bring up your session as well. So, so the first person I have going around the tiles is Deborah Williams. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
Good morning, everyone, and I am Deborah Williams. I'm doing very well, William. Thank you for asking. I bring you greetings from Durham, North Carolina, here at Duke Divinity School. I am a project coordinator for Duke Divinity School, and I am also a diversity, equity, inclusion practitioner. So that's about, I think that was the prompt, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm just Tamsin just put a link to your session in the chat. It's just coming up slowly. So your presentation is going to be, the title is Open Table, Overcoming the Assumed Belonging in Theological Institutions to a Practice of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging. Yes, and you know,
and Bill, Deborah's doing an online workshop that's going to be right after the book talk.
Yes.
Today.
Oh, everybody, please.
So everyone can find the link. I'll put the link for that in the chat as well.
Would you? Yes. So there's an invitation. So that's not the next hour, but the hour after that. So everybody, please come to that. And I can see that you've already had 77 engagements there. So that's wonderful.
Were all of those mine clicking to check in, or?
Yeah, probably. Maybe not. No, I'm sure that couldn't you couldn't have done it 77 times. And if you did, you would have confessed to it. And I hope, I don't, Tamsin, will the session be recorded? Because yes, if the session's recorded, then it will become the digital media, and hopefully that means people might also come in and discuss things asynchronously. So a general comment, by the way, even if you're at a conference in person, is use this space for extended discussion. Thank you and welcome, Deborah. The next person I have going across my tiles is Timo Schreiner.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm a professor from Germany. I have the professorship for youth and child welfare in Germany, in northern Germany. It's not my first time I attend this conference. I took part in Texas and also in Toronto a couple of years ago. And now I'm returning back to Toronto. I'm already here in a noisy hostel, so I'm looking forward for the in-person conference. My speech will be tomorrow. I planned my speech together with a colleague from Switzerland, but sadly he can't join due to family issues, so I have to do it alone tomorrow, but I think should be no problem. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, and glad to see that you are that you've been returning each year. It's a very nice network where people are come back and speak. You know, it's sort of regularly reconnect. And while I think of it, next year's conference is going to be in Lisbon in Portugal. So it'd be wonderful if people could attend there in person. If not, come online. So and yes, look, I notice if you can put in some digital media about your talk at some point, that would be really great as well. I'm sure other people would find that a very interesting topic. It's just as easy as getting on Zoom and recording your talk. So and it might be a good job for your co-presenter to do, who's not able to be with us in person. So anyhow,
I will tell him.
Okay. All right. Now the next person has the inspiring name of Zoom user, who I think I've met that person. I think I've met you before. No, I'm joking. Are you able to say something? No problem if you can't. Okay. That sometimes happens with Zoom users. They're unable to speak. So sorry about that. If you are able to speak later on, just put a little comment in the chat, and we'll ask you again. The next person is Aidan Brown. How are you, Aidan?
Hello, my name is Aidan. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the coordinator of the Q Center, which serves the LGBTQ+ population at Binghamton University. And this is my first time joining the conference.
Wonderful. Okay. And do we have are you presenting, Aidan, or?
No, I'm just here
No,
to learn.
wonderful. It's great to have you. Great to have you with us. And also, it's a very big week of festivities in Toronto this week around Pride Week as well. So, all right then. The next person I have in the Zoom tiles is Fafa Sen.
Yes, sir. Professor, this is Fafa Sen from Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. I'm speaking to you guys from Tokyo with the heavy time difference. Already here, it's some minutes past 11 p.m. So I guess I'm going to be having the same problem as also, for moderating, because I'll be moderating some sessions, and also my own presentation. So I'm trying to figure out, because yeah, Professor, I think you talked about the digital media that we should be uploading. I've already uploaded mine, but I think it's the longer version because that's a PDF. Because Tamsin last time was explaining that it would be better if we could like have the PPT version and then record it so that we can explain a little bit, so people that's quite convenient and more practical. I really wanted to do that, but right now, because I'll be leaving Tokyo next Monday for Paris, because I'm in person in Paris.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm quite busy right now. So I'll see if I can do that before
It's
that.
very easy to do. So, if you haven't done it before, it's just as simple as starting a one-person Zoom meeting and putting on record and showing your slides. So it's that easy.
Sure.
Fafa, if at any point you need help, please email me, and I can, if you're having any trouble uploading or anything, I'm happy to help.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Tamsin. Thank you.
So I can see your presentation is the contribution of the informal sector in the socio-economic structure of urban households.
Yes.
Representation of DACA street vendors. So very interesting.
That's great.
One of the things we have is people who are coming to the conference with incredibly diverse interests. And a little thing that we ask people to do is go to unlikely sessions that seem to be not related directly to what you do, and you might find some surprising connections. Because it's so broad in terms of those two dimensions of diversity that I spoke about at the beginning, there's a lot of stuff. But also what I want to mention is, because we've been running this conference now for 20 years, I'm just going to pop this link into the chat. This is the link to the bookstore, the Common Ground bookstore, and it's a link to the diversity. The diversity. Sorry, there's somebody trying to. I can't. Yeah, it's somebody trying to sell me something. This is an amazing amount of work that we've done over the years, and we've got this incredible resource. So if you're interested in something very specific, you might see the advanced search link there. If you take the link, the advanced search, almost invariably you're going to find something which is absolutely on your topic area. So I'm going to give you the opposite kind of advice, which is, if you want to dig deep into your topic area, with 1,715 papers and books that have been published, 31 books, plus all those articles, you'll be able to find something, I'm sure. So the opposite advice for the conference is go to things that seem like they're unlikely, because you never know, you might find something, some interesting lateral connections in those. But this is an amazing resource, and as members of the research network, you have full access to that resource. And with academic work, I mean, one of the ways in which you honour other people is by citing their work. I found this useful, I found this interesting. And then when you mention it in a citation later on, it's a way of honouring the intellectual community, if you like. So what we really encourage people to do is to use this work, but also to cite it as a way to, sort of build a cohesive body of knowledge with all sorts of citation interconnections there as well. So that's that. Also, I want to mention as well, which I didn't at the beginning, the special focus of this particular conference. So again, I'm going to bring up the chat, which is here, a link in the chat. So it's about the accountability revolution. So many times these days, people are saying, we must do diversity. It's one of these things which has become prescriptive in a whole lot of ways. But what's our accountability for outcomes? How do we know that it's going to be done? How do we set priorities? How do we build incentives so people actually do it? And how do we create organizational cultures which are genuinely open and inclusive and equity focused? So these are our themes for this particular conference. But also what I want to mention as well is the theme for next year's conference. So again, I am going to put a link in the chat here, which is focused on the environmental issues, essentially. Now, of course, at the conference, the full panoply of diversity issues will be represented, but this will be a special stream or theme that runs through the conference, particularly in the plenary sessions. So how, in the context of diversity, do we deal with these socio-environmental challenges as well? So they're the main themes. So, Tamsin, have I forgotten anything of any great importance?
Not that I can think of right now, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can go through the CGScholar platform and the event schedule and a bit there on how to engage in the conference as both an online only delegate and an in-person delegate. And then perhaps if there's any questions, people could go ahead and ask those at the end. So I'll do that now.
Okay, well, while you're bringing that up, I'll just wish everybody an excellent conference. I'll leave now, and I'll see you all
in the book talk.
There at the book talk. I'll see you all on the hour at the next hour,
and the workshop afterwards. So we've got a full lineup of things going on, and so I'll show everyone how to access everything there now.
And look, but by the way, a funny thing about this conference is we've got 8 people here now, 6 people or something. There's 130, and what we've found is we like holding these sessions to meet people in person, but a lot of people do the asynchronous number. So and you can see from the engagements, there's a lot of asynchronous activity going on. So that's one interesting thing. So please make sure, the recordings you do are really, really important, and please really dig into the asynchronous engagement. All right, I'm going to leave you with Tamsin, and I'll see you all.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Maybe someone just give me a thumbs up or something to make sure that they can see my screen. Thanks, Timo. So this is the conference website. I'm hoping that you've all seen this. There's a number of different ways to get to the microsite. One is just by clicking this button right here that says conference microsite. If you end up at cgscholar.com, if you're not logged in, you'll be prompted to log in the top right. If you're already logged in, it'll look like my screen there. And you can go ahead and click on your profile here. That'll take you to your profile page. Every single user in CGScholar has their own profile page. I highly recommend you update your account settings and profile information. The reason being, when your name appears in the event schedule and in the list of delegates, it will be hyperlinked. to this profile page. So if anyone clicks on your name and wants to access, and wants to read more about you, it's kind of nice if it's up to date. And so there's two ways that you can do this. The first one is if you're taken to this profile page, you can click, I'll show you how to get there. You can click on community and then go down to profile here. And make any changes there. Another way is just to go simply to your name in the top right, down to account settings, and update that information there. You can add other people as peers, and I'll show you how to do this later on when we get to the event schedule. I have a number of different communities here listed under your communities, and you will have the diversity research network community there. You could go ahead and click on that. This is kind of like a group page where we post updates about the conference, information that you might need to know, different types of things like sign up for this special event, and here's a new book that's been published and things like that. You can see other people that have joined the community there. I'll go back over to the main conference microsite page, and if you're a little bit lost, there's a number of different ways you can get there. First of all, you can click on event, and you'll see it listed just here under one of our events. Another way to do that is to go to your name in the top right and go down to your events, and you should see it listed there. Listed under your events, you'll also see information such as your proposal number. Now, I don't have a proposal. That's why there's no number here. I'm not presenting at the conference. You can see your registration. You can see the status of your registration. If it's not paid, it'll say pay later. You can download your receipt there. And this is a button to click to sign up for special events and extras. You can go ahead and click on the title of that conference there, and you'll see a number of different, this is the about page for the microsite. This is called the e-program and conference user guide. It's basically a program version of what I'm explaining to sort of a text version, PDF version of what I'm explaining to you now. I do tend to talk quickly, and we are recording this, but if you need to just read the information as well, you can read here about the conference, welcome letters from the local hosts, more about the themes of the conference, the plenary speakers, our emerging scholars, and right at the end is information on how to engage in the microsite here. You can download that as a PDF at any point. This is more information about the themes of the conference, as well as the journal collection and the book imprint. Next is, mine says submit a proposal because I'm not presenting at the conference. If you have a proposal, it will say your proposal. When clicking on your proposal there, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, that is your presentation page. So that is where you can upload your digital media for the conference. I will go more into digital media when we get over to the event schedule. Your registration is exactly what it sounds like. It's information on your registration. Presentations. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to admit someone into the room. Now, this presentations page, the following tab here will be unique to your profile. Whoever you choose to follow will appear here, and I'll show you how to do that as we just go onto the page. But this will be custom for you and your profile. Featured are our emerging scholar presentations. We have a great group of emerging scholars this year. Early career scholars as well as graduate students. They'll be moderating the sessions both in person and online. You'll see them in the discussion boards and in the rooms. So this is a listing of their presentations, and please follow along. Click on their profiles. This is the presentation page, and you'll be able to see the digital media there at the bottom. By theme, so we have a number of different themes. If you're interested, let's say in the special focus, and you only want to see a listing of the presentations, you can go ahead, related to the special focus, you can go ahead and scroll down here. I'm going to find it. It's probably going to be at the bottom, isn't it? And you can say, I'm interested in the presentations related to the special focus. Each one of these titles, when clicking on it, will take you to that presentation page where you'll be able to read an abstract, see more information about the presenter, as well as view the digital media. I'll double check. I'm going to try and find one that has digital media attached to it. This is also where you can follow those presentations. So here's one with digital media attached. The discussion boards should be open now, so I'll just go ahead and double check that. Sorry. Okay. There's that one, sorry. Themes. By type, if for example, you're only interested in workshop presentations or only interested in poster presentations, you want to have a look at what all the posters are, you can go ahead and scroll down to the poster section or the workshop section. Here's a listing by type of presentation. The last one is kind of self-explanatory, it's alphabetical. Special events. This is where you can sign up for both in-person and online special events. Right now, we just got the online ones. We have an in-person tour today that I think the cutoff is passed for that one. So now I want to move over to the sort of most important part of the program over here. So this is the session that we're in now. You could go ahead and click on the title of any session, and that will give you more information about that session, which will include the Zoom link. We are recording this session, and this video will appear here at the bottom of the page after the session. The same for this one right here. You can click on the title. The Zoom link is appearing here, and it will be recorded and be embedded at the bottom of this page afterwards. If for some reason you miss the session, you can go ahead and ask questions in the discussion board. Then we have Deborah's workshop. So to click on that, you can see the link right there for her session. So please join us for that. Now, I'm going to jump, before going into the days of the conference, I'm going to jump over to the online only tab just to give you a bit of more explanation into the online only presentations. These are themed. You can see in Organizing Better, we have a number of different presentations. By clicking on the title of the panel, you can see a full list of the abstracts of all the presentations. Presentations that have View Digital Media next to them have this little View Digital Media bar there. And you can go ahead and click on that, and it will take you to the presentation page for that session. You can see just here that what's the name? Mary Rose has uploaded both an MP4 file, which I can go ahead and click there, and it will open in another window, and I'll wait for that to load before I press play. And then she has also opened a PowerPoint file, which will be downloaded onto my desktop when I click on it. So if I, for example, have a question regarding this presentation, I can go ahead and click join the discussion. And I can ask a question there. Now you'll see that this is the title of the panel. It is not the title of the presentation. The discussion boards are for each panel, not each presentation. So these are themed together for a reason. So if you want to look at different media, you could look at the connections between the presentations, or maybe think about how they contradict each other, and ask questions to multiple presenters in the panel. When you comment in the discussion boards, I'm actually adding Mary Rose to the meeting now. It's my perfect example. When you comment in the discussion boards, the presenter will receive an email saying that there's a comment in the discussion boards. If someone comments back, responds to your comment, you will receive an email saying that someone has responded to you. If you go ahead and follow that presentation there, you'll see that it appears on the presentation page. I'm waiting, my internet's a little slow today. So then we can see that I followed Michael's presentation. That means it's easy for me to then get back to his presentation here in a new tab and go to the discussion board if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the schedule. So all online only parallel sessions are asynchronous. There is no live time for these people to present. They present via digital media. Digital media can be a number of different things. It can be an embedded video file. It can be an MP4. It can be a PowerPoint with a voiceover. It can be a PDF, a JPEG, a number of different forms of digital media. As you can see, just from the ones that I've been clicking on, a number of the online only presenters upload more than one piece of digital media. We will have our moderators, emerging scholars, in the discussion boards there to help out with the sessions and watch that digital media. And this is required for the online only presenters as a method of presenting. For the in-person presentations, we have the panels the same way, the same as the online only presentation. We do ask the in-person presenters to upload digital media. That way the online only presenters can also view their presentations and engage in the conference. And actually you can see that all three of these presenters have also uploaded digital media to their presentation pages. So you can go ahead and follow along and ask in the discussion board as well. They will receive an email if you ask a question in the discussion board there. We do have, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've failed to tell you. I feel like I've gone a little bit quickly, but maybe what I'll do is I'll open it up for questions now. And if anyone has a question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead, Deborah.
So I know that we're recording the session. So will I need to record from my Zoom? Do I need to activate the Zoom?
Yes.
Or?
Yes,
Okay.
so you're going to have to record that session. I was going to tell you just before when we were discussing it, I was like, as the host, you're going to have to go ahead and do that if that's okay. If you have any trouble afterwards, you can send me the link to the recording and we can go ahead and upload that for you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then the second question, will I need to monitor the chat as well while I'm doing the presentation, or do I need to make sure that I'm letting people in? I think I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you make me like a co-host or something. Also, let me just check. I think I might get you'll need to, unless you make one of us from Common Ground a co-host. Then, but I'll have probably one of my colleagues will come and can come and help with that.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
I'll just let Jillian know, because otherwise we'll
Those
forget.
are my questions. Thank you so much. And thank you for letting me panic this morning. I thought I did this. So. I'm just going to write a note, otherwise I'll forget. Sorry, I can see there's a question in the chat. Aiden, how can we say if day 1 and day 2 listings are available to online only participants? Sorry, Aiden, not sure what I mean. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, maybe I'm not clear. So if the session is like live on Zoom, then it will say live online only in the subtitle here. This session, for example, the plenary session, will not be live on Zoom, but the video of it will be recorded and uploaded directly after the session. We've had too many incidences where we've had something's happened to a plenary recording because on the Wi-Fi or something's happened. So it's easier for, like, it's not easier, and it's actually better for us to record the session and upload it. The plenary speakers have full access to the CGScholar platform and are aware of the fact that people will be commenting in the discussion boards. So sorry, I just realized I'm not sharing my screen anymore and I'm talking about something that's on my screen. So like, for example, this one with Nicole tomorrow, we will upload the video here directly after the session. Nicole has full access and we'll be looking at the discussion boards here after the session when the video is uploaded. These sessions, these parallel sessions, they're not live. So they, the same as the online only sessions, they rely on digital media as the form of presentation for those people who are not in the rooms. And if you have a question, let's say you have a question for Lawrence, you can go ahead and click on the discussion board there. And you can see that Lawrence has uploaded his digital media. I hope that makes sense. So basically you're looking for the live online only in the subtitle if it's something that's like this, a Zoom session. But unless it has that in the title, then you're looking for the digital media upload to comment in the discussion boards. Thanks, Aiden. Sorry if I wasn't clear before. Are there any other questions? No. So what we have, I'll leave you now then. What I will do is I will put my email address in the chat. A number of you already have it, but just in case you don't, please email me at any point in time if you have any questions or need anything on the platform. We do have the book talk coming up in about 20 minutes. And then afterwards we have Deborah's workshop. And so we will see you online then. Let me know if you need anything from me, but have a great day and nice to meet you all. Bye.
Have a great day. Thank you, Tamsin.
Thank you.
I feel like you should be going to bed, Fafa.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
But have a great
I've been
day.
busy. I had a seminar, a very long seminar today at the
Oh my
university. So yeah,
goodness. So either bed or coffee, one of the two.
I think so. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye. All right.